Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, everyone. This is Marty McDermott, the president of Franchise Interviews, and I can't start today's show without speaking about NeoPost and their IS-280 postage meter. So think about all the time small businesses spend to process and send mail and packages. You know, if we spend just 15 minutes a day doing it, that's more than 7 full days a year focused on mailing and shipping, and that's just crazy. I recently spoke to NeoPost, and they told me that one of the smartest things to start doing today to save time and money is to use the IS-280 postage meter to handle all our mail processing without ever leaving my office. So here's how it works. The IS-280 weighs and then automatically tells me what postage amount my mail or package needs. Not only do I pay 6% less to send first-class mail, but time's also saved by not having to run to the post office in Easton for postage. The IS-280 allows you to spend more time managing business and less time managing mail. Now here's the great part. For a limited time, our listeners can get 6 months free by using the promo code FRANCHISE. All you have to do is visit neopost280.com/franchise and enter your zip code to see if you qualify, followed by the promo code FRANCHISE to lock in 6 months free. That's neopost280.com/franchise.
Blog Talk Radio.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Welcome to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 11 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with Jeff Connally, the president and CEO of CMIT Solutions. And CMIT Solutions is a leading provider of information technology, professional services, and products to small and medium-sized businesses, and is uniquely capable of supporting small businesses anywhere, coast to coast, in the United States and Canada. We're going to talk to Jeff about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we have a great show.
The Stone Coat Franchise Opportunity. Are you looking for a unique and lucrative franchise opportunity? If so, take a look at Stone Coat. With a patented process which creates a true stone finish on almost any wall or ceiling, Stone Coat is a true game-changing product in the multi-billion-dollar construction industry. Stone Coat is applied faster, cleaner, and cheaper than conventional quarried stone, which saves both time and money. With advantages in remodel and new construction of both residential and commercial projects, Stone Coat is a true crossover product. The Stone Coat franchise opportunity provides a low startup cost, low operating expenses, comprehensive training, ongoing support, and no royalty payments. For more information on the Stone Coat franchise opportunity, go to www.stonecoatfranchise.com. That's www.stonecoatfranchise.com, or call us at 972-380-2700. That's 972-380-2700.
Franchise Teacher.
Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system.
Coach.
Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed.
Consult.
Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track.
And advise.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
That's franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you're listening to Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 11 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs who own one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Jeff Connally, the president and CEO of CMIT Solutions. And CMIT Solutions is a leading provider of information technology, professional services, and products to small and medium-sized businesses, and is uniquely capable of supporting small businesses anywhere, coast to coast, in the United States and Canada. Hi, Jeff. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Marty. We're doing great.
Oh, that's fantastic. We always like to ask our guests, where are you calling from?
We're calling in from a chilly Austin, Texas. It was 37 degrees this morning, so we're definitely in fall
cold
weather down here.
That's good. I guess you feel it when it's 37 degrees in Austin, don't you, Jeff?
We do, but we'll bounce back up into the 60s, and that's what our winter's like down here. So.
You know, we've been doing this show now, Jeff, 11 years, and, you know, we've had all sorts of industries on the show. You know, this is actually our 550th interview. And, you know, but I can't say that we've had your industry on the show that often, you know, so I was really excited to have you on the show today. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the history of CMIT Solutions, you know, and how the whole thing came about and, you know, when you started franchising.
Yeah, you bet. We've been around for quite some time. The founder, Georgia Jones, started the company back in the mid-1990s. Originally, she was focused on helping residential users of PCs and early forms of technology for the home learn how to make good use of technology. But very quickly, her clients, which tended to be upper-end entrepreneurs, doctors, dentists, attorneys, they found that their home network was working a whole lot better than what they had at the office, so they invited Georgia and her team to help them. And so very early, we were drawn into the B2B, small, medium business segment, which has really been a fantastic market for us, continues to have very intense needs all around technology, and we've moved well beyond a standalone PC to very comprehensive networks, connecting mobile devices, phone systems, print devices, pretty much everything that beeps or blinks in a small business, we take care of it.
That's amazing. I was looking at the list of services and products, Jeff. I mean, it's quite detailed, isn't it? I mean, you really provide a lot of different services and products for your clients, don't you?
We do. Again, the whole idea that if it's technology and a small business could use it to be more efficient, to be more profitable, we have the expertise to help them implement whatever form of technology. The last really 5 or 6 years, we've seen an explosion of mobile devices connected to networks, which has given small and medium businesses a lot of capabilities. But it's also brought a fair amount of risk with these devices being relatively easy to penetrate and for hackers and people that would breach your systems to gain access to your network. So that's given us a whole lot more intense demand that we address very nicely.
Do you find in your industry, Jeff, that, you know, I mean, a lot of businesses, do they usually call you when it's a little bit too late? Is that a typical scenario of, you know, when, you know, they'll call for your services, or does it happen often? Yeah,
generally there's flames coming out of something when they give us a call. There's some level of pain. But very quickly, we help small businesses understand that we're very proactive. There are things we can do using today's technology to analyze what's going on in the network, to spot a problem before the users of the network will even notice there's an issue, and head it off. So, but yes, unfortunately, most people don't take action until, that if it was a car, until that little red light comes on and says, hey, you're low on oil. So
exactly.
That typically happens for us.
It's one of my problems, Jeff, is printing, and I saw that you guys have, even a printing service, and I can't tell you, because I teach for Kaplan University, and how often I have to run out to Staples to go pick up toner, and it's just little things like that, and so your service really makes things more efficient and effective, for your clients. And your market is pretty huge. I mean, when we're talking about, business to business, I guess it's safe to say that your industry or your market is pretty huge, isn't it?
It is, and that's one of the things any entrepreneur should think about as they think about getting into business is, what is the market? How intense are the needs of that market? And then, do I have a core set of skills as an entrepreneur, or want to be entrepreneur? Do I have a basic set of skills that could help me? And then I think the last thing that we help our entrepreneurs think about is, do you have the excitement and passion to do this? Our business is one that you don't have to be someone with a strong technical background, and this surprises people a lot.
Right.
Of our top quartile, only one half had an IT background. The other half come from everything, HR, general management, sales and marketing backgrounds, but they all have the passion and excitement to be a key member of their small business community. And we're right there with the best CPAs, the best attorneys in supporting small businesses. And frankly, you can't really do without technology these days. It's just about impossible to find a business that does.
That's the beauty of franchising, isn't it, Jeff? That that you could get into this type of industry, without having that, that background, and I think that's wonderful because, one of the themes on our show over 11 years is we always say to our listeners, or recommend, is that, you look towards the industry and look towards the growth and how big is the market and things like that. And I guess that's probably a perception as well, too, as you were saying, is like a lot of people think, to get into, I always thought, to get into this industry, you have to have some type of background. But as you're saying, you don't, and I think that's wonderful. What's been one of the most interesting things that's happened to you, Jeff, since, joining CMIT Solutions? Anything stand out over the years?
Oh, goodness.
I'm sure there's a lot of stories you have.
Appreciate the question. It's exciting. Well, I'll just give you one of the things we do is we have a very comprehensive pre-launch, then 2 weeks of training here in Austin, and then we assign a personal coach to each and every launching office. And then after we get them to a certain point, they're eligible. It's not mandatory, but most people take advantage of our mastermind group structure, which is a group of peers, roughly the same level of business maturity. We put them in a group of anywhere between 9 and 14 different franchisees. I just had, so every week is something great happening. And this last week we had one of our newest groups come in and did their first what's called a limelight review, where one member of the group says, I'd like everybody to dive deep on my business and give me what you think I'm doing well, and what do you think I could do better, because I have these goals. And they list out their very specific goals for the next year. And then you have the brain power of home office or the headquarters, us, as well as their peers. And our mastermind group structure is really powerful. And I that's one of those victories we have every time we have a limelight review. Some really great stuff comes out that helps that franchisee, and frankly helps everyone else around the table who is focused on one business, but everyone takes away great ideas. So I think that's something unique about CMIT Solutions. A couple of other franchisors I've heard about are beginning to embrace the idea of mastermind groups. but it's very powerful.
It's great. It's
very
a sharing
exciting.
of best practices, isn't it, Jeff? And that's another beauty of franchising, and your model, is that sharing of best practices and talking about the different experiences you have. I mean, it's really wonderful. The majority of our listeners, Jeff, we call them aspiring franchipreneurs. Most of them have it in their mind that they would like to get into franchising. What types of characteristics then do you look for in your franchisees?
So very specifically for us, you need someone who's curious, because our approach is not, hey, we've got all these answers and we run around looking for people with those problems. It's more about we have a very comprehensive marketing program so that it makes people aware, the small business owners in your market area will be aware of you. And then when they have a problem, when they have a little uncomfort or some pain, something going wrong, they call. So our approach is to go in and build a relationship. Now, yes, if there's flames coming out of something, we're going to pounce on that and solve the problems.
Right.
But we build a long-term relationship. So curiosity, and that throws people when I say that sometimes, but it means genuinely interested in the other business owners in their businesses, the variety of businesses they have, and we do an interview, a very thorough understanding of what is this business owner trying to accomplish, and we also take a hard look at their infrastructure, their IT infrastructure, and figure out where are the gaps, what is letting them down about their IT systems, and then we, over time, and I mean we're talking decades, we've got clients that we've had since the day we opened, and that's because we do a good job for the client, understanding their long-term goals, and then matching with their goals forms of technologies and ideas that will help them fully leverage what they want to do.
That's fantastic.
So curiosity is one, and then we really have to see individuals that want to be the face of their business, because we co-brand CMIT Solutions, which stands for Completely Managed Information Technology, and the business owner. So the entrepreneur, as you say, we want someone who wants to be the face of our business in whatever their business community is, and we have lots of capabilities to help build that with PR and a number of other marketing efforts that help establish them. And it's terrifically fun when I'm traveling, and I spend a lot of time with my franchise partners all across North America. When we're having breakfast or lunch somewhere out where other business owners are dining, we can't have a 10-minute conversation because we're interrupted by clients and prospective clients who know my franchise partner. They have no idea who I am, but it is powerful for them to engage and for me to watch the fun times that people do coming up. And we've got some very, very, very successful businesses as clients of CMIT Solutions that you'd recognize.
That's terrific. Your franchisees, Jeff, I mean, do they typically, are a lot of them coming from, like, would you say, like, corporate America? I mean, do they have that, like, business background? I imagine that they also enjoy working with other businesses, and I think that's a nice part of the business.
It is. It's true. Probably north of 80% come from that kind of a background. Another good, healthy percentage are people leaving the military, mostly officers. Gentleman here in our office today who's in the final phases of his due diligence. He's getting ready to retire from the Air Force, and he's got a terrific background for what we do, and we just adore bringing folks who served into our business because they're organized, they accomplish their mission no matter what the obstacle, and, and we've had a long list of very successful folks from every branch of the service.
And I imagine CMIT Solutions, Jeff, it accommodates like a certain lifestyle. I guess because your franchisees would be dealing mostly with, businesses, would you say it's more of like a Monday through Friday kind of thing, with typical 9 to 5, or I'm sure there's other times where you're outside of that realm, but is it more like a, as you say, business to business, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday type of scenario?
That's very typical, yes, it is. But I wouldn't mislead your listeners when you're starting a business, even with all of the support, all the resources of, in our case, CMIT Solutions or any franchisor, your first year or two, you're going to spend some real extra time making sure you get it right and launching that business.
That's terrific. What is the training like then, Jeff? I mean, once you decide, they are a match, for CMIT Solutions, they like you, you like them. Do they typically come out to Austin then for training? Is that how it works?
Well, because we're a technology-based firm, we do a lot of things online.
Sure.
And Kaplan, I think, as you mentioned, you teach for
We're
Kaplan.
online, so we do it all online, right, virtual.
Right. So we have a number of modules that are done that way in preparation. There's about a 3-week window. Once we both decide this is a good fit, we believe this is great, and we figure out what market area the new Frantrepreneur will be operating in. Mm-hmm. Then they come to training for 2 weeks, and then they're in launch mode after that. So the initial 5 weeks, which is 3 online and in their home base, and then 2 with us, after that, it never ends. Technology just keeps evolving with new devices, sure, new techniques, new software. So we continue with lots of online modules, as well as every month we have something we call Town Hall, and that's where we might introduce new offerings. We have deeper dives and webinars and other ways to make sure that we're communicating. And then annually we have a full-on convention where all of our alliance partners, and that will be companies like Dell and other names you might recognize that are our partner, they come in and conduct training and all kinds of educational events for our franchisees so they stay on their A game.
That's terrific. I'm sure every day is probably a little bit different, Jeff, but is there such thing as a typical day for a franchisee?
I think so. Once you're up and going and you've got things, a handful or more of clients, the first thing you'll do is check your dashboards. So everything's online, and we're monitoring 24/7 all of what's going on at all clients. So you'll see any alerts, any issues that your technicians need to deal with. You'll be aware of that. And as our offices mature, you'll have someone that is doing that on your behalf. But being a business owner, you always want to pay attention to what's going on. So that's probably the first thing in the morning over coffee, and that's pretty easy to get addressed. And then after that, the business owner, the franchisee, is really all about client relationship, building new client relationships, and then managing the existing relationships. So our franchise partners are largely in that client relationship business. So this is not a business for someone who is very, very extremely introverted or is great at operations but wants to always be in the background. That we're probably not the right business for that individual. Doesn't need to be an outstanding extrovert, but someone that genuinely wants to be a key member of the local business community. That's who we're looking for.
It's great having that relationship, those relationships with your clients as well, Jeff, as is getting that repeat sale, once you have that customer, because as you said, technology is always changing, and when you have that relationship, of course, you can sell them additional products and services and things of that nature, so, which is certainly a very attractive part of the business, isn't it?
It is, Marty. And thanks for pointing out that most of our clients are on 2 to 3 year, we call it a managed service agreement, where we assess what they really need, figure out what all the elements are, and then we engage the client on a fixed price for multiple years. And then as the business grows, as they add on additional services, we adjust that contract. But it is a beautiful process for the end user, and that's where it's got to work for them. They get for a fixed price a certain level service, and our service is head and shoulders above what they've experienced before at a fixed price they can predict and budget for. And it's certainly great for our franchisees to open up, when we're getting close to December, the 1st of December, our businesses will know largely what their revenue will be for the month because that's already under contract.
That's terrific. In studying your background, Jeff, you have all of this experience. What advice would you give to our listeners in their quest to buy a franchise? Because as in being in franchising now, there's a lot out there. And in doing the show such a long time now, we find that a lot of our listeners, in the beginning are very confused. They just don't know where to begin because there's so much out there. From everything you've learned up to this point about franchising, what advice would you give to our listeners in their quest to buy a franchise?
Take your time. Do really
good,
deep due diligence, and explore several varieties of different kinds of businesses. What I know I found was you've got to be excited about what it is you do.
Right.
There will be hard days in whatever business. I don't
Sure.
care if it's Baskin Robbins. How can you have a bad day when there's ice cream? You got to smile.
Right.
But there are challenging days. Labor issues. How do you fill in for somebody that just graduated high school and they're on to college? You just lost a key member of your counter staff. So I would look at a variety. But I'd go back to what I mentioned a little bit earlier, and that is, first of all, make sure that there's strong market demand for the kind of business you're thinking about. Make sure that your skill set, your background, align with other successful franchisees in that system. And then thirdly, can you be really excited about it? Because what our franchise partners do is they really solve big problems for other small business owners in their community. And you have to love being of service to others, and thereby making yourself an important member of that business community. And so I'd say look for those three things. There are some remarkable businesses that use the franchise business model to go to market. And as you said, the people in technology, not so much. There's two or three others. We're very fortunate. We've worked hard over the years, and we now have the largest footprint in North America. So we're now finding opportunities coming to us for national accounts where we have coverage in every location that they have. So there's some neat things that happen when you just put your head down and focus.
Of course.
And just keep going forward. So entrepreneurship is fantastic. I love it.
And that's the joy of your business too, Jeff. Of being a part of CMIT Solutions is I imagine that your franchisees, they must feel to some extent that they're almost like a partner in all these different businesses that they're working with. I can imagine. I mean, again, you could probably say that better than I could, but I imagine they do to some extent feel like almost like a partner to the business, don't they?
Yes, and we all do. And that's a part of my biggest psychic reward. We know. Now, we're well through the Great Recession, but those are some hard times. They were really hard on all businesses. Corporate America rather dispassionately dealt with issues by just saying, well, these 300 people have to go. That's not the way small business owners operate. Most small businesses consider their teams pretty much an extension of their family.
Right.
And so as we helped small businesses be more efficient and more profitable through the recession, we just have countless stories of what it really means to be part of a business community. And we get rewarded as we go, now that we're in good times, people remember all the great things my franchise partners all across North America did for them when it was challenging to get by, as the recession kind of ground us all. And, but we flourished. Our customers flourished, and now it's been just beautiful.
That's terrific. So I can ask you the next question as the president and CEO of the company. I mean, where do you see CMIT Solutions, Jeff, if you're looking to a crystal ball like 3 to 5 years down the road?
So we embraced a concept that many forward-thinking franchisors, and I was introduced to this idea by Shelley Sun, who runs BrightStar, and it's called the EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. So we have embraced it, and we help our franchisees know how to operate an entrepreneurial business. It's a real business framework. And our target, which we're very much on track for, is to have 500 locations by the time we get to be, by the time we're at 2024, which is not that far away. It's just about 6 years. And we're on track for that. And that's 500 territories or locations throughout North America. Today we're a little more than 180 as of last week, as we graduated another class. So the bigger picture is really, what are we doing for our clients? And that is being what they need us to be. And the threats, I'm talking about hackers and cybersecurity threats and risks, have just really multiplied for small businesses. It used to be that you'd read about Target or Home Depot or some of these very large Fortune 500 companies being breached, and now they've strengthened their defenses, and the bad folks out there that are trying to monetize your data, and they can do it very quickly on the dark web, have really targeted small and medium businesses. So over the last couple of years, we've strengthened and built and rolled out a lot more cyber protection for our customers. So I see the future being an extension of that, and pretty much any form of device, any type of software, any form of network, cloud or in-house, will be there to help small businesses take full advantage of those technologies. So it's a very invigorating industry. It's a very challenging space to be in. We adore it because every day you learn something new, and it's all about helping small businesses be more profitable and more efficient.
It's interesting, Jeff. Speaking to a lot of those threats, that you were mentioning earlier, have really become, I guess you could say, opportunities to CMIT Solutions, haven't they? All the publicity that you hear today, with hacking and things like that, it has probably helped your business to some extent, hasn't it?
It has, in a sad way.
Yeah.
It's such a threat, and most small businesses are just focused on doing business, being the best civil engineering firm or architectural office or law firm or CPA firm. And now they have to deal with people from all corners of the globe seeking to breach their data. And all you need is a Social Security number, and those are valuable on the web. So we help prevent.
Yeah, many years ago we had someone trying to break into our website, Jeff. And I said, God, we're just, we're a small company. I said, who would, want to break into our website, and hack it, but it happens to everyone, doesn't it? So I was really excited when I was studying your model to say, that it's amazing you can get into this industry without having that experience, and I think that's the beauty of franchising and the beauty of CMIT Solutions, because, as I always look towards the market and I say, my God, I said, this market is so huge that I just think it's a really exciting time for CMIT Solutions, so I was really glad to have you on the show today. What's the best way for our listeners, Jeff, to get more information on becoming a franchisee and just even all the different services that CMIT Solutions provides? Should they go to the website? Is that the best place to go?
Sure, yeah. CMITsolutions.com is the end-user-facing website, and you'll see a bunch of our customers that we've interviewed telling you what it is we do. And that's probably the best way to see what our hard work results in. But if you're curious about CMIT as a business opportunity for yourself, then CMITfranchise.com is the website to go to. But just Google us, and you can find us very easily. We're generally at the top of all lists, and we welcome any curious individuals that may have heard something today that sounded like perhaps an option they want to explore.
That's fantastic. It's been great having you on the show, Jeff. I'd like to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, and I'd already like to invite you back next year as you continue to grow, because I think this is a wonderful franchise model.
Marty, we'll have a lot to report to you a year from now. Thank you so much.
That's true, won't you? It's been my pleasure, Jeff. And we'll be right back with more franchise interviews. Coming up on segment 2, you're going to hear what every franchipreneur needs to know before buying a franchise. We're going to play a clip from our popular Great Quotes in Franchising podcast right here on Franchise Interviews.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing: helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities, or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822. Franchisers, are you looking to reach aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise? Are you looking to reach a highly educated audience on franchising? For over 8 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Our weekly franchise radio show where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts and attorneys, and our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott from Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. You know, Franchise Interviews has been hosting franchise interviews for almost 6 years now and almost 300 shows, and during that time we've had some incredible quotes on our show. Today you're going to get to hear from Art Collet, who is the president of Alpha Graphics, and Art has a wonderful quote. He says that franchising is one of the greatest inventions for small business, and he kind of expands why, so here we go.
Fantastic program. I mean, when I saw it, I said I thought this was very exciting for you guys, you know, and it's going to be interesting to watch it. I mean, it sounds like your franchise partners are certainly going to appreciate something like this, and I guess that's the benefit of getting into franchising as well, isn't it, Art? You know, is to, you know, you have a program like this, you know, a very strong program that the franchisees can really benefit from.
Yeah, I tell you, Marty, you know, you said something earlier. You know, I was saying earlier about, you know, that nearly 10 years of restaurant ownership. Mm-hmm. There were months, Marty, and we were not a franchise. There were months, Marty, where I begged for somebody to send a royalty check to, because I thought, man, if somebody could bring me some turnkey marketing programs, if somebody could bring me some training solutions that were already ready to go for the employees and how to hire them and who's the right person, how to recruit them, if somebody could bring me a process for creating more traffic at my restaurant or operational workflow and checklist, Marty, I believe, you know, and I've had people, you know, great people like, you know, Bud Hadfield, and I can, you know, go down the list of just the names of people that have, you know, are in my cell phone that I can call anytime. I mean, John Luther over at Dunkin' Brands and Jim Amos, who, you know, led mailboxes, et cetera, and you know all these names. I think I'm honored being on your show today, just knowing those guys.
Thank you.
People like that are people that you've interviewed. But you know, franchising, I believe, is the greatest invention for small business ownership. Yeah. Because franchising doesn't change the fact that you're still a small business owner. Exactly. All franchising should do, I mean, my job as president of Alpha Graphics is to take people who have decided they want to be a small business owner and they want to do it in this arena of providing visual communication solutions, whether that's document solutions or marketing solutions. But my job as president of Alpha Graphics is just simply to take the hurdles that may be 6 feet high if you're out there on your own trying to do it yourself, and let's take them down to 6 inches. The hurdles are still there. You're still going to have employee issues. You're still going to have operational issues. You still need to have somebody. You're still going to deal with your financials in your business. And I think sometimes prospective franchisees forget that. Yes. They forget that they're still. They may possibly think the franchisor is going to take those problems away. And there are some that we do remove off the table, but for the most part, they're all still there. We just have systems and approach and coaching and support to help you manage that. And now it's a little speed bump in the road in the road instead of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you again soon with another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising by Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.
Discover a career that matters at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Be part of an innovative team delivering world-class healthcare and benefits to America's veterans. Enjoy robust benefits, work-life balance, and career development opportunities. Join a diverse and inclusive community that values your unique background and skills. A community where nearly 1 in 3 of your colleagues are veterans themselves. Apply now at vacareers.va.gov.
Meet Tandem Mobi, the impressively small and powerful automated insulin delivery system from Tandem Diabetes Care. The Tandem Mobi insulin pump is about the size of an earbuds case, which means it offers wearability like never before. Wear it on body with an adhesive sleeve, clip it to your clothing, or simply slip it into the coin pocket of your pants. Discover a pump designed to fit your lifestyle, and do what moves you with Tandem Mobi. Learn more at tandemdiabetes.com. Adhesive sleeves sold separately, RX only, indicated for patients with type 1 diabetes, 6 years and older. Safety info available at tandemdiabetes.com/safety info.